So I've been thinking a lot about what is it about my particular situation that that makes it so bad. Um, of course, losing a child or a young person uh, in your life is worse than losing, let's say, a person who has lived a long, long time for obvious reasons. There's a natural course of expectation and cycles that, if violated, is um, is much more damaging. Um, Knowing that Forrest will never get those moments, and I mean the million moments that we get to experience in the phenomena of life. Sometimes I look on the ground. My eyes have been cast down, and I notice all the geometric shapes and patterns even there. And I think, like, oh, this is cool. I'll take a picture of it, use it as a background, or share it with him. We used to do a lot of that. I would find weird pieces of mosaics and tile work in the subways and take close-up shots of it, and I would just send that to him. So what makes it so bad for me about Forrest's very unexpected OD death was that I thought we were on one path, and I do mean we, like that there was a conscious collaboration and support, inspiration, love, friendship, guidance, feedback, listening. So that there was that was our road that he was going to school. We don't know where that road was going to go, but the fact that he had progressed on his own efforts. It would be different if I was like, constantly praising him for stuff that he wasn't deserving of. And we had that talk a few times. I said, I'm not going to do that. You got to earn it. And not for me, but just to really earn it, to really say I'm deserving of this praise, or I deserve, to say I got an A because you earned your A, and earning it was through lots of small steps, concerted effort, staying on course, understanding what's expected of you, not imposing what you want. Um, all of those things come into play to earn an A, for example, or a level on your belt, or even just a year out of your life in which you look back and say, wow, I did those 5 things, 10 things that I had on a list. I learned those tunes, I did those gigs, I painted that many paintings, I got out of toxic relationships, whatever it is that that you should do or you want to do. Those things are highly desirable things, right? That we desire them. Nobody is forcing us to write a tune or make a painting. It's not the same as it's like one step removed in a lot of cases from, let's say, having to paint an apartment for money to feed your family. It's not easy, but there's ways to make a life as an artist, and that's another conversation. So the thing that hurts really bad for me is that I thought, I believed, I trusted, and I also continuously checked. Forrest had a summer school class. It was a 6-week crash course in some credits that he needed to finish his degree, and he took it. And those online classes can often go off the rails because you don't have structure, they're short term, you know, it's really quite easy. I had that experience myself. And again, he gets like an A. I believe he got an A in that course over the summer. While he was up here, you know, he's like, Dad, can I have money for my tuition is due? Boom. You know, it's like, that's what our conversation is. What are your classes? What are you doing? You know, he was so excited, according to him. All this is going on while he was up here visiting and also doing this bebop course, which was admittedly something I imposed on him. I think he got a lot out of it, but it wasn't that he said, hey, I want to do this. I did it 3 years ago, and I said, man, you gotta hang with these guys and just take their course. It's just like a 4-day crash course in how they approach bebop guitar specifically, and you'll get that. And I work with one of these guys all the time, so it was just a way for me to share in a very condensed way something that provided more of a basis, some basis for what I was going to be doing with him next, which was kicking the guitar's ass, you know. He was excited about that. I showed him what I had developed, this little system, and he even said, this is the whole guitar to me. This is the whole guitar. Whereas that may not be true. He recognized what I was showing him. And we saw, like, over the next, 6 months, what we would do with this. So his martial arts, he was going for another fight. He was just about to get his purple belt. He got it in his casket, which is really of no use to him, although of great symbolic importance and appreciation. Your purple belt is no good if you're not alive. He was working. Maybe he was having a few too many love interests. That might have fed into this with some form of escapism. But all this amazing stuff. So I kind of thought we were on that path. And I was busy when he was here. I was working. I just finished this gig. I took like a week off to spend with him. Just being nearby. Not to swallow his time, but to see him every day, drive him around, hang out, all that stuff. And we did those things. And then I came back to New York City from upstate. And he went back and forth from the city to upstate, largely hanging with his friends who had no idea what he was doing. He was a hero. And unfortunately, it's something we're never going to be able to explain to people. You know, I heard somebody say today, like, if he's a drug addict, don't feel sorry for him. If he's a drug addict, don't feel sorry for him. I used to feel that way. I still feel that way. So that's all part and parcel of this horrifying day-to-day experience of trying to wrap my head around that this is reality for me. I can't reach across the threshold of reality and touch him and communicate with him or help him. Forget about being comforted by him, inspired by him. Now all that stuff is in my mind. And how many other people do this that way? It's unsustainable. I said that, like something was going to go wrong. You can't do heroin and not screw up badly pretty soon. I feel like he really psychically shut everyone out to do this. And that was his addiction piece in this. Like, he had so much to live for. But he was full of that lying stuff, that deceit, that self. He must have been, to be doing this for 2 months before he dies, looking into all of us, running around the park with me, cooking him breakfast, talking about the way he liked his eggs. Happy, smiling, ripped body. You don't expect to 2 days later get a call, he's dead, and he's dead from heroin OD, and then you find out it's not isolated. So I'm going to spend probably the rest of my life interweaving subjective thoughts and narratives and insights. Some of them might be right, some of them might be wrong. Was Forrest pushed too hard? Was he trying to please too many people? Did he just want his own private thing? Was it no more than just like some young person thinking that this was reasonable partying? Was it a hardcore addiction that came back to bite him? It's all of it. It's all of it. But it's definitely, he had a taste for it. He never gave it up, because to go back to it meant that it was an option for him. Heroin was an option. Reality, hard work. There's a lot of pleasure, but there's complexity, and you let people down, and it's not always easy, and then the road is long in front of you, and being not on drugs and fucked up and full of shit, doing bad things to your body and blaming other people for your problems is hard. It's really hard. It's really hard to give yourself to some higher version of humanity that includes education, physical health, and being a contributor. That's hard. It's much easier to just jerk off and be a drug addict, or consider your problems to be uniquely important and deserving of everybody's accommodation. We all know people who are like that, and we don't want to be around them. And Forrest wasn't like that. So it's two roads. But I thought we were on one road, and he was on the other one. Close enough, parallel, to make me believe and make all of us believe and trust that he was safe